How we doing, everyone? Welcome back. We're on Unit 3. This is day 3 of our live streams for AP Psychology. Today, we're going to be talking about a bunch of fun stuff. And to start, we're going to be looking at this CED real quick. So I'll put this up here. So we are on Unit 3. We are looking at this part of the exam is about 6 to 8%. So not the largest part of the exam, but still important. Here, we make this a little bit bigger there. So we are on sensation and perception. If you don't know what we're looking at, this is the course exam description. It is in the description of this video, so you can check it out there. This is what the College Board is going to be testing us on. So we can see all of our different units here. This is what we want to make sure we are aligning our studies to. Because this is what College Board is going to be using. So we want to make sure that when we're studying, we're looking at the right things. Once again, too, if you're like, yeah, that's a lot of stuff going on there, and change that. There we go. Sorry, I was just trying to quick fix the thing. If there's a lot going on there, you could check out in the free preview, the Ultimate Review Packet. I broke down the CD. So I took down all the stuff for each unit and those topics. So again, this is part of that free preview. You can sign in. Links in the description here. But here's the stuff we're going to be covering today. So we're going to go into principles of sensation, perception. We're going to talk about the visual anatomy, the visual perception, auditory, chemical senses, and body senses. So again, not the largest part of the test, but it is still important that we cover it. So hopefully people are doing well today. Let me know in the chat where people are from. Let's get this Kahoot up. There we go. We're going to move that over here. Also, I will say with the poll, you guys have a lot better Star Wars list. So it looks like right now, Empire Strikes Back has 30%, Revenge of the Sith 24%, Return of the Jedi, and then Last Jedi is the last one. That's a quality order, I would say. I mean, for me, granted, I skewed it because you only had so many options. Last Jedi would not be on my top for Star Wars by far, but that's okay. You know, if you like it. Honestly, I don't really know why, but it's your opinion, so it works. All right, we got people from Texas, Kobe from Texas, Austin, Texas, New York, Canada, woo, Canada, awesome, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, what do we got? Brazil, sweet, more Brazil. Cool. Did I watch the new Star Wars Bad Batch? Yes, unless there was an episode out today. I don't think there... Maybe there was. Yeah, because it's May 1st. I don't know. If it is, I haven't seen the season finale yet, but I have watched Bad Batch. All right, let's get our Kahoot code up. Bad Batch was great. I've enjoyed it. Cool. So sign in. Here we go. Woo! First people getting in there. Got people from all over Chicago. May 4th coming up. Oh, yeah. May 4th. Gotta love Star Wars. I'm excited for the new season or that new show, The Acolytes, I believe. I think that'll be kind of cool. Something different. So, all right. Mr. Sinn, get that. Okay, again. I know. I get it. You want the beard, mustache, you know, maybe I'll have to bring it back. Consistent. I'll give you that. Been in every chat so far. So it's cool starting to see some of the names too. No beard, no. All right, so we have it. Maybe that should have been the poll. I should have ended the Star Wars one, just posted a new one. We can quick do that now. Thoughts? Beard? No beard. There we go. All right, we're going to get started with our first Kahoot question. Let's get a move on. More quotes? What quotes do you want? I don't know. All right, here we go. First question for AP Psychology, Unit 3. Coming up. Get a rat tail haircut. Definitely a no on that one. It's not my style. All right, our first question here we are looking at is what Gestalt principle is when your mind fills in the gaps of an image to create a whole picture. So what are we talking about here? We're looking at Gestalt. Ooh, interesting. It's a 56% for the beard and 45% no beard. Huh. That would be legit. A Mr. Sinn Heimler beard combo would be crazy. That would be crazy. All right. Cool. Majority of people got it. Real quick, some of the other Gestalt principles. Remember, similarity is when we're going to be looking at things that have similar designs and we end up grouping them together. So this is also what a lot of marketing agencies use when they're creating different logos. They'll design them with these Gestalt principles in mind because they know that this is how we are perceiving things. And so it can create some really cool images and really unique logos. Remember, closure. This is kind of what we're looking at here when we're talking about our mind is filling in that missing information. So if we quick go back and we look at this, again, you could probably see the soccer ball, even though this isn't fully connected. It's not a whole soccer ball, but you can probably see that. Your mind is filling in some of these gaps here. So it's filling in those information that we're missing on this. The next thing for continuation, remember that's our tendency that will follow a continuous path. So think of like an exit sign. They have the arrow there. It's meant to do, you read exit and then you follow the arrow. So you're going to continue that way. So that is to help us kind of continue in the right direction, especially in an emergency situation. And then proximity, when things are then close together, remember, that's where it's going to seem like it's one object, which, to be fair, we could kind of probably argue even here too, because if we go back to the picture so you guys can see it again, because these are a little bit closer, then that could also be happening as well, the proximity and closure here. So maybe we could argue that a little bit there. But again, the proximity is when objects are close to each other and they appear like one object. So that would be proximity. I see a couple of people. Yes. Other people are asking about proximity, and then some people are also answering it there. So that is great. The FedEx arrow has a logo like it. Yes, it does. A lot of different brands are going to use these principles because it's effective. It works well, and it creates very memorable things that stand out to us. All right, let's look at our leaderboard. What do we got? Bright Emu in the lead. Bright Emu. Yeah, there we go. All right, question 2 coming up. I'll give you guys another motivational speech like last one. I'll think about it. I think about it. NBC Peacock logo. Yep, that's another one that uses a lot of these different principles for sure. All right, what do we got here? We are looking at blank is when looking at an object. Each eye is seeing a different part of the object, which gives us a degree of depth. What is going on here? All right, and it is retinal disparity. Yeah, so the majority of people got it. Let's quick talk about those other ones just to make sure it's making sense for you. So you got this one right, but we also need to know these other terms as well. So remember, convergence is when our eyes are actually moving inward, and that generally happens when it's closer to objects, and they straighten out as that object moves farther away. So I could try to do it if I finger your eyes from focusing. I don't know if that fully worked on the actual video or not, but that would be convergence. Monocular cues, remember, this is those cues that only one eye is going to help you with perceiving the world. So that's going to help us. It's not working. Okay, I'm sorry. I attempted. But I might have not been focusing actually on my finger there. So yeah, whatever. All right. But the monocular cues, that's going to be like relative size, height, light, shadow, texture. That stuff is all going to be from our monocular cues. And remember, mono there, we're looking at 1. So that's going to help us with perceiving the world there. Retinal disparity too, we're talking about those binocular cues. So this is the mind. And what's happening is we have a disparity that each eye is seeing. So this is giving us information about the world around us. The binocular cue is requiring both eyes, and this is helping us perceive depth and distance, specifically too with where objects are. So this is what helps us understand where things are around us and in front of us. And then the last one, the linear perspective, that was when those parallel lines, when they appeared to actually converge at a point in the distance. So if you're looking out in the sunrise there. How do you get into the Kahoot? Good question. Here you go. Let me get that here. I'll just actually get our game code up permanently. So it's 5362608. We'll just have that. Scroll. There you go. Hopefully you can get in still. You should be able to. All right. We'll take that one off now. Sweet. All right. Yeah, there are other cues and stuff too. All right. Let's go on to the next one. Bright Emu keeps lead, but a lot of the other leadership we can see has changed. So got some changes going on here. Some people also asking too about the amount on this test. I think we looked at it in the CD just a second ago. This makes up 6 to 8% of the exam. So this is one of the smaller percentages of the exam, but you still are going to have some questions on the exam from this unit. So even though it's a smaller amount, doesn't mean that we want to skip it and forget about this. So cool. All right. What is it called when a person is unable to recognize faces? What do we got? Yes, majority of people did get this. Awesome. Seems like okay, we'll talk about the others quick. So just to make sure that's making sense. So remember with synesthesia, this is when you would be experiencing essentially more than one sense. So one of your senses is stimulated, and then you will experience another one. So like when you're seeing colors when reading words. Thatcher's illusion, remember, is this struggle to actually identify changes that be made to someone's face. Like if we flip it upside down and stuff, that would be one of the issues there, that you'd have trouble trying to actually understand what's going on. So if I flipped all the faces, I think in one of my videos too, I did that. I flipped a bunch of faces and then there was issues with the faces. And if we flipped them back normal, all of a sudden you realize it. But when they're upside down, you don't pick up on it. So that can help. I can read this. There you go. All right. Cool. If you've never learned this, that is okay. Not a big deal. You're learning it now. We're reviewing. You're going to do great. We got this. All right. Let's go on to our next one. Here we go. And we got a change in the leaderboard. The Arctic Dolphin coming up and taking over. Way to go. Skincare routine. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Everyone always asks for that. All right, here we go. What structures of the eye protects the cornea? What do we got? So remember, we have a variety. I think the next couple questions are actually going to be about the eye. So this is one of the part of this unit here. All right, let's quick talk about this one. So when we're looking at, remember the retina here, that's going to be kind of that focal point in the back of your eye, and that's going to contain the photoreceptors. The lens is going to be that curved transparent structure, and that actually helps us with anyways, it helps focus the light on the retina. And then the choroid, that's going to be that membrane. It's made of a bunch of blood vessels. That's what actually keeps the eye healthy. Conjunctiva is actually what is going to help it. So like if you get dust or something in your eyes, you're not going to scratch your cornea. So it's a really thin membrane that covers the surface of the sclera, which is white. It's that outer layer of the eye. So that conjunctiva is that transparent membrane, though. That's what's actually going to stop like dust and stuff from getting in and possibly scratching anything. So that would be the one. The lens, again, which was the most popular answer here. Remember, that's that curved transparent structure. And that's what's helping us with focusing light on the retina. And again, the retina there is in the back, and then that has all the photoreceptors there. So make sure, again, with some of the stuff when we're looking at the eye and some of the anatomy there, you want to have an idea of the different parts of it as it could come up. The answer for that one was conjunctiva. So for the structure that protects the cornea. All right, here we go. Next question coming up. What nerve sends impulses from the eye to the brain? Looking at the nerve here. What do we got? All right, 4 seconds left. And perfect. Majority of people got optic. This one's a little bit easier here. Remember, too, when we're looking at these, the olfactory nerve, that's going to be stuff with smell. The ocular nerve, made up. I just made that one up. So did anyone pick that one? I apologize to the 25 of you that picked that one. And the facial nerve, too, that's going to be our facial muscles and our tongue there. So cool. What do we got? 8th grade science. Good. Hey, if you know it, you know it. That's the nice thing. All right. What determines color? So we're moving on a little bit to color. What do we got? Some people asking about the AP Human Geo one. It would be 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central time. Yep. That would be correct. What study schedule would I recommend the next couple of days? Ooh, good question. We'll come back to this one really quick. What I would do first, let's quick. So you got your CED. I like this question because we are getting closer to the exam. And the closer we get, you got to make different choices. Especially as we get closer and closer to this exam, you want to focus on exactly what you need to do. And you've heard me reference the CED all the time. You can see it on the screen right now. You know, I'm about to talk about it a little bit. But before you do this, as we get closer, go on College Board, take one of those practice AP exams that they've released. If you can't see it on your College Board account, talk to your teacher. They can kind of post it for you, or you could go into class and hopefully be able to do it. But take a full practice exam. The cool thing, if you can do the College Board one, is when it ends, you'll see exactly what unit the questions you missed are from, the exact topic that they are on. And you can also see how much time you spent on each question. When you're taking it online, treat it like a real exam. And I realize it sounds like a lot of steps, but this is going to actually speed your studying up so much. And it'll really help you out in these last days. So real quick, let's just randomly. Oh, come on. So when I'm talking to about like that topic, when you finish that test, you're going to see this number here. So like right here, whatever way it's mirrored. But topic 4.3. So you'll see 4 means unit 4. 0.3, the 3, is then this specific topic in unit 4. So this is the third topic in unit 4. The nice thing, after you finish your practice exam, when you can identify the questions you got wrong, what unit they're from, and the topic, now you can go to this CED document. Here I could see I need to study positive reinforcement, positive punishment, negative punishment. And we're looking at operant conditioning. I also want to understand reinforcement, motivation, and learning. So now I know if I've been getting questions wrong that connect to 4.3, that's the stuff I need to study. So I can be now more effective in my studying instead of studying everything at once, especially as we get closer to this exam. Focus on the areas that are your weak spots. Now we can take those weaknesses and turn them into strengths. And that will help us a lot of reducing our stress and making sure you're prepared. Now, after you study a little bit, take another exam and repeat this process. We can keep trying to figure out where we're lacking so that way we can continue to improve. The time component too, the reason why I mentioned that earlier, if you're timing yourself per question, you can start to see, are you on track for when you get to the actual exam? You only have so much time during this exam. We have limited time. We have limited amount of time to spend on each question. So you want to get in the habit of trying to minimize your questions there. When you get to that exam, if let's say you're stuck on a question and you have no idea what's going on, what you can do is see if you can eliminate some answers, take a shot at it, take a guess, move on to the next one. Star it, make a little mark there so that if you have time at the end, go back. But you don't want to spend too much time on a question you have no idea on and then miss out on a question that you do understand. There's questions on College Board, but there's also questions like you could take practice exams in my ultimate review packet. I have 2 full practice AP exams in my ultimate review packet. There's apps, there's Barron's review books. There's a ton of stuff online. So there's a lot of different things you can do for practice tests. I was mentioning College Board, but there is plenty of other areas for you. All right, let's quick go back to here. What do we got? All right. So we're looking at color. The majority of people got this. It does seem like rods were the second most popular. Remember, rods are those visual receptors that allow us to actually see in dim light. So quick, take that one off. Rods are going to be the things, though, that are in kind of the blacks, the whites, the grays. So they're responsible for our vision in those low light. The cones are going to be responsible for color. And they'll be more active actually in bright light. So rods and cones, rods are going to be for low light, cones are going to be for bright light. So the frequency and wavelength does actually determine color. So remember, high frequency, those shorter wavelengths, that's going to be more cooler colors. If we have a low frequency and long wavelength, that will be more warmer colors. So depending on that wavelength and the frequency, that changes kind of the tone there. The cooler colors are warmer colors there. So hopefully that helps. Cones equal color. Yes. Yes. C for color, C for cones. Like it. Cool. All righty. Let's go on to our next one. It would be helpful. It would be very helpful if you could keep the answers. Sure. Yeah, I can do that. If you want me to keep the answers on screen, that is okay. I can do that. No problem. All righty, here we go. Thank you for the feedback. The goal here is to help you guys out. So if this helps you, and if it's more helpful to have the questions on the screen instead of me, by all means, I'm fine with that. Here we go. Next one. Light shines through the back of the eye at the blank. The blank are located and enable us to see color. So let's see who was paying attention. What do we got? What do we have here? All righty. Majority of people got it, which is great. Yes. So remember, the cones are going to be responsible for color. That's C for cone, C for color. Again, we talked about the lens earlier, and then the retina there as well. So earlier in the review, we talked about these. So cool. Let's go through. Ooh, Mystery Panda moving up. Power Cheetah holding on to the top spot there. Way to go. Way to go. All righty. Next question. What type of processing occurs when we are presented with unfamiliar information that we lack prior knowledge on? So, things that we lack prior knowledge on. What do we got? All righty. And it is bottom up processing. Yes. So let's quick kind of go over some of these. Remember, when we're talking about this top down processing, maybe we'll do it this way. You can still see. There you go. You can still see the answers. So top-down processing is when we're using our prior knowledge and information to actually interpret that new information, what we're taking in. Bottom-up is when we're processing the information, we're taking in the stimuli that's coming in and we're organizing as it comes. Oftentimes, we're unfamiliar with the information. It's complex. We don't know much about it. It takes us a little bit more there. So that would be the second best answer that people had, or second option was the highest. Opponent processing, that seems to be the next one. This is that theory that kind of complements the trichromatic theory. And this is when we're actually receiving information from the cones. It's sent to the ganglion cells, and this will cause some neurons to become excited and others inhibited. So this is looking at then color and different aspects of that. All right, let's go on to our leaderboard. Power Cheetah still holding on. We got a couple changes here. We got some players on a 5 streak. All right. Way to go. Next question coming up. In your AP Psych class, you realize that the info you learned in AP Bio is helping you process the new information. Why is that? What do we got? What do we have? All right. Some people, the 30 seconds is, some people are saying the 30 seconds is too short. Some people are saying it's too long. I don't know what to make of it. But yes, top-down processing, we just kind of went over this one. So hopefully you were paying attention there. One thing, remember too, for that trichromatic theory, this is that theory of color vision, and it's explaining how we perceive color. So it's looking at the 3 different types of cone cells in the retina. So that would be important there. So the reds, the greens, the blues, so that they're working in those groups of 3s. All righty. No change in our at least top leaderboard. But Wise Penguin back with an answer streak. All right, there we go. Moving up. Some people asking, are these the type of MCs we can expect on the AP exam? Kahoot limits me with how much I can put in questions and answers. So a lot of these are a little bit shorter. There'll definitely be more depth on the AP exam. So you want to make sure you're taking those College Board questions, finding some practice tests, whether it be my ultimate review packet, whether it be in like a Barron's book or wherever may work for you, because you want practice with those more in-depth questions. But this is a great way to review vocab and some of these concepts to make sure you're understanding it. All right, frequency of the sound. So the other one was amplitude. So remember, high frequency, higher pitch, lower frequency, lower pitch. And amplitude is going to determine how loud the sound will be. So amplitude is going to be how loud that sound will be. All right. Next question coming up. Here we go. What structure of the ear contains fluid and is vital in maintaining balance? So we're talking about maintaining balance here. What do we got? What do we got? All righty. If you want, some people asking about liquids in the test, you can bring like water and stuff in. Are we going to have a Kahoot for Unit 4? Yes, tomorrow, Unit 4, 6 p.m. Yes, it is the semicircular canals. So looks like majority of people got it. The cochlea seems to be the second most popular answer here. Remember, the cochlea does have fluid, but it's not involved with balance. So it does have fluid, but it's not involved in that balance. It's going to help converting those sound waves into those electrical signals. And then those will get sent to the brain. So semicircular canals, that's like kind of when you tilt your head or when you shift it back and forth. It's stimulating the nerves there, which then sends that signal to your brain about your position. So that would be for the semicircular canals. Organ of Corti, remember, too, contains those sensory receptors, and that helps us with hearing. And the basilar membrane, that's kind of with the organ of Corti. It sits on top of this, and then it vibrates, and then that sends impulses to the brain. Woo! There we go. You hate ears. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do with that. All righty, let's go on to our next question. Where does a sound wave turn into electrical signals? What do we got? Here we go. Why is there? I'm not sure on that one. Okay. Okay. So going back to our Kahoot, I was looking at the chat and then I got confused. Okay. It is the organ of Corti. So we just kind of talked about this a little bit. Remember, the auditory canal, which seems like the majority of people put, that's that tube where sound's entering that inner ear from the outside. So that's coming in from the outside there. The organ of Corti, that has the thousands of tiny hairs that protrude up, and then they vibrate to convert into electrical impulses. So it's located within the cochlea of the inner ear. But that auditory canal, that's just where sound's traveling through the canal. So remember the difference of that. What do we got? Perfect. The Lord of Riz. What a name. What a name. This is the unit that'll make you cook. Great. We will get to the nose in just a little bit. All right, there's our new leaderboard. Let's go to our next question. Here it comes. Where does a sound wave turn into a mechanical vibration? What do we got here? So we're talking about mechanical vibrations and sound waves. And 2 seconds left. All right, majority of people got it. It is the auditory osculus. These are these really small bones. So you have like the malleus, the incus, the stapes, and they vibrate. And when they're vibrating, then the sound reaches them. That allows them to transmit into the cochlea, and then that's located all in the middle ear. So the other one, yeah, the cochlea is then going to be where it's going to actually transmit into. So that's that fluid kind of filled snail shaped. It contains the organ of Corti. So that would be that one. All right. Going on to our next question. We are going to be moving away from the ear, I believe. No, sorry. I had it wrong. I was trying to remember everything of the order I had it all in. We're still in the ear, but now we're talking about hearing loss. So changing it up a little bit. Changing it up. Yes. What we got? There we go. Helpful tips in the chat. Yes. Nice. All right. Okay, we have a little bit of a split on this one. Interesting. Remember when we're looking at this conductive, this is when sound doesn't reach the inner ear. And generally that's because something's blocking the canal or maybe there was some damage. Sensorinal, this is going to be when the cilia or that auditory nerve is actually damaged and the brain can't receive the full signal of the sound that it should be. And so this can happen over time. Loud sounds will actually damage these hairs. So like as you're getting older, this becomes more and more common. So that's why when you have your earbuds in and you're blasting music, you probably shouldn't be doing that. not going to impact you maybe right away, but over time, who knows? Cool. Majority of other people pick just those two. So those will be the kind of ones we focus on there. All right, let's go on to our next question. Do I recommend studying this unit a lot? I would recommend like studying it. Again, this part of the unit or this part of the exam is only 6 to 8%. So there's definitely other units that make up a higher percentage. I would study it. You kind of got to figure out where you're struggling with. So like if you are a pro at those other units that are a higher percentage of the exam, well then yeah, definitely study here. But if you're really struggling with those, they make up a higher percentage of the exam. So it'd be more beneficial for you to focus on those units first, since you're more likely to see some of those questions. So you got to prioritize kind of where you're at now with also the breakdown of the exam. All right. Majority of people did get this one. Remember, nodules, that's going to be like a growth abnormal tissue. The olfactory bulb, that's going to be those electric signals that are transmitted from the cilia. And that'll deal with the smell. And then the cilia there, these are those really small hairs. All right. Oh, Arctic dolphin taking the lead. There you go. Going on to our next one. Moving up in the world. All right. When air and molecules enters your nose, it first hits the what? So we're on to our wonderful nose. You guys want me? I do see your comments of another motivational speech. We can't do motivational speeches all the time. If you do them all the time, then they lose the spark. If we are overexposed to it, then it just isn't the same. But it looks like we do need to talk about this question a little bit here. So a couple different things going on. I'll just explain all of them. So the cribriform plate, remember, this bone has a hole in it, and this is where the actual nerve is going through. So this is kind of on the roof of your nasal cavity. The olfactory bulb, which is where the majority of people put down, this is where that electrical signal is going to be transmitted from those little hairs, the cilia, in that olfactory epithelium to the olfactory nerve. So that's where that transmission is going to be happening. And then the olfactory nerve, this is going to be where that signal then is ultimately transmitted, from the olfactory bulb to the brain. So that's where we're looking at there. Guys, save the metal. Olfactory bulb, worst unit, you're crying help. You got this. You're going to do great. You're going to do great. It is okay. That's why we're reviewing. The olfactory bulb, remember, this is where those electrical signals are going to be transmitted from the cilia, those little hairs, to the olfactory epithelium, to the olfactory nerve. Sorry, not to. It's in the olfactory epithelium. It goes to that nerve. So there we go for that one. All right, let's go on to our next question. Here we go. Power Cheetah at the top. Sup, y'all? Waiting for AP Human Geo. Welcome. It is at 7. You got a while for AP Human Geo, so your cat likes my voice. I think that's a compliment. I don't know. I say hello to your cat. All right. So what cell turns odor molecules into electrical signals? Again, we've kind of just went over these. Hopefully it kind of helps. All right. Majority of people did get this. We still have some dispute here. The olfactory bulb, maybe I should have been more clear before. This is transmitting those signals. So this is where those electrical signals are actually being transmitted. The olfactory receptor cells, these are where our odors will actually be absorbed. That then will then allow the excitement to happen for the cilias, which with the receptor cells. And then again, we have this electrical signal. So the olfactory receptor cells, remember to also known as the olfactory sensory neuron. These are those specialized cells in that olfactory epithelial cavity there. So hopefully that helps with that one. Some of these other ones, I'm going to be honest, I just made up. They're not real. So moving on. All right. Next one coming up. What enables us to feel pain? So what enables us to feel pain? What do we got? A variety of things here. The Cahoots. I will post the Cahoots. I will make sure I do not forget. I will make sure. I think units 1 and 2 are up. I will make sure to post this one. I will not start the AP Human Geo review until I post the Kahoot for you guys. So if you want to do this, you can. All right. Cool. What we got? Okay, we have a little divide here on some of these, so we can talk about them. So those nociceptors, remember, these are those pain receptors. So that is what allows us to feel pain. The proprioceptors, these help with movement, the body's movement, our position. It allows us to understand those things. Vestibular sense, remember, that is our sense of balance. This is our sense of balance there. And then the epidermis is that thin outer layer of skin. So they're not going to be helping with feeling the pain. Those are going to be the nociceptors, but the epidermis there is that thin layer of skin. Sweet. Going on to our next question. Here we go. Question 19. Trying to catch up on the chat now. You say no pain, nociceptors. Yeah, I like that one. That was a good way to remember it. Great way to remember it. Yeah, no to pain, nociceptors. Yeah, that's perfect. There we go. So right now we're talking about if you're wondering in the CD where we are. So right now we are talking about, is this up? Can we see it? Perfect. So right now we are going into like the body sense, touch, pain, vestibular. So we're looking at these aspects. Before we were just talking about the nose. So this is getting taste and smell, describing the taste and the smell process. We're looking at different pathways, the specialized pathways for the brain, those senses. So we were just reviewing those. And before we were looking at hearing. And then this one is vision. So, top-down processing and everything. So here's visual anatomy. So this is where we're looking at like the theories of color vision, synesthesia. We talked about that a little bit earlier, vision processes. And again, stuff with the brain and these pathways. So that's where we're connecting. Again, you can kind of see how I'm connecting these Kahoot questions into the CED. We're trying to focus on these things that are on our test. And again, if you're panicking because you're like, I'm not getting all of these, that's completely fine. Honestly, right now, if you're missing some things, this is helping you more with review. Plus, we got plenty of time to that AP exam. All right, cool. Majority of people did get, but vestibular sense, again, is all about balance. That's what helps us out here. All right, Arctic Dolphin in the lead. We are on question 20 of 20. Let's see, what do we got? The last question here. We have certain hair cells on the basilar membrane respond to different frequencies of sound. This best connects with what? The Kahoots are posted in the ultimate review packet. So yeah, if you're looking for the Kahoots, they'll be in the ultimate review packet. As we finish them live, what I'll do is then just post them. So that way, if you wanted to use them in the ultimate review packet, you definitely can. All right. And the majority of people got this. Top-down processing, not involved with hearing. Bottom-up processing, not involved with hearing. That place theory. This is supported with different experiments that look at these different frequencies. And the different frequencies stimulating these different places on the membrane. So the second part of this theory, it's kind of still debated, but this is where it's looking at pitch and is it coded and different things there with the maximum stimulation of the hair cells. But place theory would definitely be the correct answer for this one. Awesome. What do we got here? Let's look at our leaderboard. Trying to catch up with chat now. Okay, and in first place, we got the Arctic Dolphin, followed by we have our runners up at the bottom here, and in third place, the Powered Cheetah. Woohoo! Okay, you're going to cry again. Yesterday's Kahoot humbled me. Today is worse. That is okay. You can do this. I said I wouldn't do a motivational speech, so I can't do one because then I would have lied. Can't lie. But again, we have plenty of time right now. The more you study, the more you review. After this, if you want, go rewatch my Unit 3 summary video that goes over the entire unit. Or you can go and take a practice test. Find some quizzes for Unit 3. If you want, actually head on over to the Discord server. It's completely free. and quick show it too. Because there's a bunch of practice questions. If you're looking for some more questions, I showed this the other day too. But if you're looking for a lot of review questions for AP Psych, this server here, they're all free. So you can join, that one's AP Human Geo. So here's a bunch of stuff. And there's a whole section on Unit 3 that people can, you got people about practice quizzes here, a variety of different stuff for helping people out. So if you're interested, you can check it out. Links in the description here. So you got a lot of resources you can use. We got plenty of time left. You're going to do great. So have confidence there. I will post this in the Ultimate Review Packet right now. I promise that I'd post this before we actually start the AP Human Geo one. So I'll make sure to post that there. You need the Kahoots. Yes, I will make sure to post the Kahoots. So, all right. Cool. Awesome. All right. I'm going to have to wrap up all these live streams. My voice is actually slowly starting to fade, so I need to try and not overdo things. But thank you all so much for coming here. Make sure that you are studying and reviewing that CD. Also, make sure to thank your teachers. They do a ton of work for you all year, and you're going to finish strong. You're going to do great. So, as always, I'm Mr. Sinn. Thank you so much for staying, so much for coming. I will see you next time online. You've got this. Have confidence. You can do this. You're going to do great. I know it.